I got some profound thoughts and advice from a writing coach this week who, after sharing a lot of my work with her, said, it seems that my book, and essentially my living book, so like the book I'm living out, is about a full fall from privilege and growing up, you know, white, upper middle class in Silicon Valley, going to UCLA. It's like you assume you're going to be happy. You assume it's all figured out. And, you know, between psychedelics and various personal traumas and being a sort of a philosopher and sort of caring more about understanding than obedience in various hierarchies. I've sort of done this full fall from privilege, and I'm thinking about the Kanye West line, money isn't everything, not having it is. And I'm fighting through money problems right now, and it's hard to know what the problem is. Is it hard to network and sell yourself? Sure. Probably because, you know, and I quote this Franz Kafka line a lot here, that anything we don't have has simply not sufficiently been desired. You don't want it enough, right? If you wanted it enough, you would have it. Maybe I know that not having money is a more important lesson than having it or getting it. And I think I am kind of allergic to it because I'm aware of the people suffering by not having it. And I don't know, is my life and soul being chosen to go in this fight of not having money and seeing where it leads? Maybe. And I'm scared. I'm scared to suffer. You know, I'm scared to have to do things I don't want to do. You know, I don't want to lose my bedroom, my living room, where I make coffee and make breakfast and sit with my computer for hours on end and write what I want and say what I want to whomever I want, and essentially just keep living my life like that. Even as I know that as I speak, as I make this video tonight, May 6th, 2020, the world is changing. Technology is changing. Young people are very awake. We're moving to a place where you won't need to do what you don't want to do. And you know, maybe this has nothing to do with the external world and everything to do with what it's like to merge what you want and what you need. I think what I do is I find a way to want to do what I need to do, but it's via understanding. And by that I mean, you know, I want to be proud of the world I'm in, right? And if we're citizens of a country, I want to be proud of the country. I have this memory of pride, right? And I've tweeted before, it's like the only problem there ever is memory. If it weren't for that, we'd be fine. But we remember it being different or it being better. And now we want to get back to it. But of course, you start realizing it was never good. It was never better. In a sense, we haven't moved an inch. And we're always being pulled backwards. I don't know, it's profoundly frustrating. And I feel profoundly sad and let down that it's like, oh man, see, I turned 33 and a half about a week and a half ago. There was no party, there was no celebration, there was no ritual for like, ta-da, like you and your peers are now responsible for making politics good and economics good and climate good. And it's like, God, like brutal wake up call to just like wake up and it's like, oh, the economy is just you. And it's like, oh, Jesus. I don't know. And it's like, Like we had birthday parties every year, and it's like, well, inheriting a world seems at least worth celebrating as much as turning 1 year older. So I don't know. I don't know. You sort of wake up and you're the adult, and it's like, ugh. I don't know. Sense of humor is new in this time of lockdown and quarantine, and old life going away and new one. Who knows when it starts? Is it September? Is it January 2021? Is it a year from now? 2 years from now? No one knows. We've been here for about 2 months, and I figure we have about 4 months to go at least. So I don't know. The money problem is a purpose problem, and a communication problem, and a networking problem, and a openness problem. The money problem is always a nexus of about 12 other problems. And I don't know, you can always move the mystery down a level, by understanding something, by looking at it, you then see all of its alternatives. Right? It's like as you get older, choices destroy all their alternatives. And I'm understanding this more with writing and with editing and rereading stuff I sent out 4 years ago, seeing that with new eyes now. Yeah, I don't know. There's perks of getting older. But yeah, figuring out how to organize the world right now. It's very doable. We're all extremely online. We're all extremely available. The problem is memory. And the impatience. I mean, the hardest thing I find with communication between two people is agreeing on a vocabulary and cranking through a lot of repetitions of saying things and responding to them to eventually get to having to redefine terms that you're both using, and you have to agree on a definition of them. And it just takes time to get to know people. I very rarely liked being thrown together on a team in the workplace. I thought it should be a lot more sacred. It should be a lot more ceremonial and get to know people and where they come from, how they use words, right? Rather than just here's a bunch of strangers, go execute this thing. And it's like, oh yeah, go do creative work that's gonna go move strangers. And it's like, well, wait a minute. We need to agree, we need to talk and get to know each other, right? But it's like the people who have the budgets and have the timelines, they don't know. They don't think like a regular person. So I don't know how the different types of people get along. I don't know. But this is the life of a philosopher and a lover of wisdom and someone who wants to understand what they see. An understanding is a very lonely place because it's hard to interact. Well, it's not hard to interact from there, but it's a different voice. It's rare to find someone who you can talk to like this. And I'm totally fine spending time here just recording this conversation right here and not, I'm not dying to socialize. I socialize, and when I'm there, I'm there. And when I'm here, I'm here. If there's one thing I've become aware of recently, it's that, if such a thing exists as a true artist, you put everything you have into every little thing you do. Everything you do, you summon up all of the past, all of your thoughts, all of your heart, and you do it right there. So when I'm composing a message to anybody, every single word of it is the best thing I've ever done. And I've very much been living there. And I very much refuse to go back to this paradigm of work-life balance and professional, unprofessional. Everything I do is professional. Now I'm also disobedient. I would say I'm professional grade at being disobedient. So yeah, I don't know. You know, this video here and my writings generally, you know, between the tweets and the pinned tweet and the link in bio and the 4 links on the link in bio, you know, I'm just someone who doesn't fit. The way I operate is not the way people operate, which makes life a very difficult challenge and a kind of a horrendous proposition of you figure it out or you don't. And that's the story of your life. You go on day by day, you figure it out, or you don't. So every day it's like I come back to the work, I come back to the computer, I come back to my life, I come back to the progress I've been making as far as, you know, what I've been creating, relationships I've been cultivating. And you go try to push it up the hill. But you also got to play very relaxed. You got to be very relaxed when you do all this. And it can't be strategic because I can smell strategic stuff and I hate it. And I call my friends out for it all the time. And I am not really strategic. I just kind of have fun and I want to jam. And, you know, we're musicians, we're artists, we're fun, we're humans, we're dancers, we're singers, we're painters, we're poets. Like we're all that. Now it's up to us, you know, if we can manage to have an us, to be in solidarity and to resist the forces that try to separate us. And we have to campaign and fight for freedom and the ability to do what we do. And that we should be free to do what we do. And we have to resist. You have to resist. And deprogram yourself and unlearn all the shames of having to prove yourself through making a living. It's complete bullshit. And it's snuffed out too many flames. So 9:32 p.m. here in San Francisco. You know, I may be down to my final days in this apartment. If I can't pay rent, if I can't find the motivation to do it, if it's not do or die, if my heart's not all in it, I won't do it. And it's like, well, you got to go where you're afraid to go. And if you're afraid to lose a thing, you might need to lose it. And that might be the best thing for you. Right? I mean, if 33 and a half is the beginning of aging and getting old, getting old is about loss and losing things you don't get back and learning to live with that and be saying your goodbyes. So maybe that's what this is. And I'm not the only one who doesn't know what's going to happen next for them. You know, again, maybe the fall from privilege was always about wanting like a cushy exit. But you know what? Like, I'm glad. I mean, I'm glad I don't rely on wine and Netflix and going to Napa and vacations and super nice apartments and blah, blah, blah. No, just give me 5 more hours. Give me 5 more hours, warmed up, ready to go, hydrated, well-fed, well-slept. Give me 5 more hours with my notes, with people I read, direct messages, texts. Give me 5 more hours. And that's what I live for. I mean, there's nothing better than that. And, you know, I'm intentional 15 hours a day. 7 days a week. Integrity, it's hard. Once you learn that you can do it, you sort of never forget your mission, or your community, or your identity, or your progress. So I don't know. I'm certainly not complaining, but I think I'm just reporting from the middle of my life, saying it's very strange. And everything changes every day. And 3 days ago was wonderful. 2 days ago was hell. Yesterday, I can't recall. And it's always changing. And it's always new. That's the strangest thing. It's always new. Being yourself is always new. So, thank you for watching.